And the thing with young people like myself that I've come to realize is that in growing up, we have always wanted to walk a particular path, because if you do the alternate, then you might lose something in the essence of probably love or approval. I feel like what I am thinking about should be common, but I'm not sure how common it is. And that is learning your audience.
Ronnie, if you were to choose between advice, if you are in a very critical state right now in campus, for example, and you were to choose between a lot of my advice and my sermon and more of my presence, which one would you choose and why?
I will choose.
Welcome back to the Chaplain's Mic. Happy New Year. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I am doing very okay and I'm grateful to God. And this is a new year. I had promised you that I'll be bringing you real sacred stories behind the syllabus. Stories they don't write in the curriculum, but these are the stories that shape chaplaincy in learning institutions. Now, last year, I took you through a series of conversations on chaplaincy and I talked to you about the meaning of chaplaincy, the difference between a chaplain and a pastor. And I also talked to you about the role of a chaplain and the challenges facing chaplaincy in learning institutions today. And if you have not watched that, then you have to go back and backtrack, watch before you can now join our conversations. This year I'm set to bring you real stories from now students who are in the university and experience us as chaplains and experience chaplaincy. And today I have with me two friends. I call them friends because these are the first students I met when I came to Kabarak University and when I started my chaplaincy ministry. So I'll give them a chance to just introduce themselves, tell us what they're doing, and also to share with us. I think I'll ask them one thing that is weird about them. Each one of you is going to tell us one thing that is weird, that people find weird about you. We can start with you.
Hello everyone, my name is Abigail Wamboi Kinyanjuri. I am a student here at Kabarak University in the School of Pharmacy. I am in my 5th year of study, the 2nd semester. And a weird thing about me, I think people have mentioned severally how weird it is that I can be extremely loud and then extremely quiet the next minute.
Yeah,
I think
found you sleeping a few minutes ago.
Yeah, I was asleep just right now and I can just bounce off of it and go on. So I think that's weird now that I say it out loud.
Yeah, thank you, Abby.
Thank you, Pasi. My name is Ronnie Kimtai, a student from the School of Education in my final year, final semester. Very important. Final semester.
Yeah, I'm going to miss you as a student.
Oh, me too. Thank you very much for having me. And I think one weird thing that people find in myself is that it's kind of, I have two personalities. Some people will encounter the silent me.
Ron! Silence! Define silence.
Maybe silence is relative.
Okay.
Yeah, then later they'll be like, oh, this guy can talk. But other people will encounter the loud me, and later they interact with me, they're like, oh, so this guy is silent. So that is kind of weird.
I don't think I have experienced this.
Me too.
Okay. Now that you said it, it's okay. Yeah, thank you for joining me today in the Chaplain's Mic. And I just want us to have a random conversations about chaplaincy and how you two have been experiencing chaplaincy. You are the first students I connected with when I came to Kabarak. Maybe you can tell people a little bit about how we met and how that made you feel as students at that time.
All right. So we met back in January and both of us were running or helping the Christian Union run a program we called Real Talk here at Kabarak. So when you came in, I first saw you during a Sunday service. And in your introduction, I found it interesting how you mentioned that you're looking forward to attending Real Talk which is usually a student-based conversation. I was like, okay, I'm looking forward to see you attend as well. And then the next time we met was in your office, where you had organized a meeting for the Real Talk committee. That is students that helped me and him run the Real Talk. And I was impressed by how you took initiative and even organized tea for us. You guys know when you give a comrade tea, and it was tea and mandazi. Oh my God. You know, you just warmed our hearts, and we had a meeting, and you were so intentional about how have you guys been running this? What would you like to be implemented? How can we implement what you want to be implemented? So I just loved the intentionality with which you approached Real Talk. And now that I've grown to see even the entire students' body and how to serve students.
Yeah, maybe we can tell people a little bit about Real Talks. So, you could be hearing Real Talk and you're wondering, what are these people talking about? Basically, this is a conversation that brings together all students, and we talk about real issues affecting real people in the real world. So we talk about contemporary issues. Like the whole of last semester, we talked about LGBTQ, and we structured the sessions to really bring out LGBTQ, how it comes out in the society today, and even among Christians. And this is an opportunity for all students, whether they are born again, whether they are not, whether they are not affiliated to any faith. We just get them together and have conversations with them, get to hear their perspectives. I think the other semester we did something on toxic ties, and we were just talking about toxic ties with self, with others, with your parents. And so we talk about real issues. This semester we're talking about the professional Gen Z, and we talk about identity before industry, like who you are before what you do. So don't just be confused and wonder what is Real Talk and what are these people talking about. Ronnie, how was your experience when you first met?
Well, mine was crazy. Because I think that
Whether you used to frequent my office a lot.
A lot.
Yeah,
I think I've missed your office also. I've not come there for some
you
time.
need to visit.
Yes. But I think that day I was the moderator. Then while I was moderating from the pulpit, I saw a lady who was in specs seated somewhere in front. I don't know. I never knew if you were the chaplain, but later the VC said that we have a new staff will be joining us, the assistant university chaplain, Pastor Deborah. Then I was like, I'm waiting for like a kind of an old woman to come because we are...
No, you didn't call me old.
Careful.
I am listening to your words. Okay.
Yeah, because we are used to like chaplains are old people and pastors and people who have gone ahead in years, but it's like a young person, a chaplain. I was surprised at the end. I was seated right in front as the moderator, and then you mentioned Real Talk, and I remember that day you mentioned Real Talk, and I followed you immediately after the service.
Yeah, you did.
Yes, and you gave me your number, and I said I'd visit your office on Monday, and I came, and that was it. We came with Abby. The tea was good.
The mandazis were good.
Yeah, very nice.
That was a good start of the year, even for me, just getting to know you guys and interacting with you, and also just knowing you for you. I mean, it was very easy, and I think there's something that Abby mentioned about intentionality. Last year, I talked about some of the characteristics of chaplaincy, and we talked about that intentionality, like how you show up and what you do in your showing up. I think sometimes we assume that young people really do not need that, but in real sense, they need a lot of that, especially the Gen Zs. These two guys are both Gen Zs, my friends are both Gen Zs, and they will tell you, I don't know, what do you think as we think about availability and presence when we are dealing with young people? I know that nowadays people are so much online and they want to talk to one another, they want to scroll on TikTok, they want to scroll on other apps, IG and all that. What does actually the Ministry of Presence mean to you when somebody is present? How does that make you feel?
Just one word is rotating in my mind when you talk about the Ministry of Presence, and that is safe. I feel safe. I feel secure. and that goes for emotionally, mentally, and even questions around academia and how to navigate. I feel like there at the background there is someone that is standing and waiting that I can fall back on. And to many people it is just a job description, but to have someone who acknowledges and embraces that as their gift to humanity, that's a completely different ball game. So I'm just thinking about safety. You feel secure, and that is such a good feeling, because when you come out to conquer the world, you feel unstoppable, because there's someone rooting for you. And the thing with young people like myself that I've come to realize is that in growing up, we have always wanted to walk a particular path, because if you do the alternate, then you might lose something in the essence of probably love or approval or validation or someone cheering you on. But imagine how it feels like to know that, in the complexity of young adulthood and figuring everything out, the mistakes, the wins, the highs, the lows, there's just someone who God has placed in order to be present for you. It feels secure, it feels safe. Yeah.
I think I talked about this also in chaplaincy, the ministry of presence, and young people crave that. You see, Abby is talking about safety. She's talking about feeling like there's a cover around her. And I think that's a very important and key thing for us to know as chaplains, that as we live out here and as we model faith for our young people, they actually need the safety more than your sermons. Ronnie, if you were to choose between advice, if you are in a very critical state right now in campus, for example, and you were to choose between a lot of my advice and my sermon and more of my presence, which one would you choose and why?
I will choose your presence more.
Okay.
Because they say that the presence is the best presence that anybody can give. Because I see presence as the highest form of gift, because you're trading your time, first of all, something that you cannot recover. If we go back to the Bible, yes, the presence of God was the first thing that was given to man in the Garden of Eden. So it's not anything cheap. Otherwise, I can read them in books, podcasts, anywhere. These ones I can even use
there's an outburst
ChatGPT.
of information. By the way, do you know you can chat with ChatGPT nowadays?
Yeah. But for me, presence will slap more if I can use such a word. Yeah, because it's a trade of time, and it means that you are available. It's not just like you are there, just take this advice and go and do it. No, the physical you matters more to me personally. More.
And maybe if I can tie this and ask also in a different way, I know you have talked about how you feel safe, how you feel. How would we become more effective in our presence? Like, if I am holding space for you, how would that look like for you? How would you want it to look like for you? In other words, like, how can we make it more effective as we are present as chaplains too?
For me, I can say, you guys are also in your area of line of work. Sometimes jobs and work may be a bit heavy, but the key ingredient can be consistency. If we can come into your offices and find you all the time, because sometimes disaster can strike anytime, and you need anybody to talk to anytime. So if you are consistent, very consistent, that will really carry more weight for me in the presence.
Yeah, right. Rhythm and consistency.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Abby.
I feel like what I am thinking about should be common, but I'm not sure how common it is. And that is learning your audience, learning your students, learning the patterns, personalities of everyone that you're going to talk to. Because you may be very conversant with an ideal young adult who is cruising through campus. But then when it comes to tailor making, even the kind of attention that you give, because from where you sit, I know you analyze and you'd be like, for this one, they need me to pray for them right now. But this other one, they need me to talk to them and reassure them. So now I'm thinking of a scenario where you're praying for the one needing reassurance and it's not really, you're not really achieving anything at the end of the day. or there are others that actually probably they are talking to you about something that they need you to be there for them with. Imagine the visits that you actually make, the physical ones to homes and all of that. And imagine telling someone, oh, that is happening, okay, I'll pray for you. But for them, they need you to be there with them physically. So I don't know, but I think it's a crazy balance. But finding that out and settling so that we also don't cross your boundaries, and then it becomes a crazy thing.
I don't know. Do you guys remember when I first introduced you to temperament tests and I was asking you, do you know your
something like
temperament?
that.
Yeah,
Something
and
like
everyone
that.
was saying I have found out I'm a sanguine. Others were like I'm melancholic, I'm phlegmatic, I'm choleric. You know, it actually helps the chaplain to bond more with the students. Now, if you're doing ministry in learning institutions as a chaplain, this is one thing that you can borrow from what these young people are talking about. That you don't offer water when what they want is juice at that time. You
Good example.
or tea. Yeah, you don't give them tea when they need what they need is water. I mean, so you really need to gel in. And I think what I have loved most is consistency. That sometimes as chaplains, I know we burn out. We have a lot. Like today, I have just been analyzing my day. It started at around 9 and I have done I had so many things. Like my to-do list was very long, you know. But we can strike a balance, and in the middle of our very, very tight schedules, we can accommodate the young people and make sure that when they need us, not today, we tell them you can come. Tomorrow we're like, we don't need to see you in our offices, right? Yeah. Now, let me ask you something else. We did real talk with you a lot, and you analyzed how the students were behaving. You analyzed how they were responding and all that. What do you think is one of the things that we did together, both myself and you, and it made real talk really a safe space for students? One thing you can remember that we really did this, and this was a good input and it related to us as students and we were able to bring many people on board. Can you think of anything?
Wow. What stood out for me was how we intentionally made people feel welcome to Real Talk. And we were having a conversation and you told me, I love how you guys coordinate the sessions. I love what you guys talk about. But you are missing something very important, which is core. How do you get people to come? How do you make people feel like there's more to what they have experienced that day? And among those implementations was giving people a sweet when they come in.
That conversation.
And if not for anything, some of my friends would tell me, hey, kuna sweet leo. We are going to come.
Just come for the sake of the sweet.
So they've come for the sweet and then they just sit in the session and they gain something. That for me was a plus. And even how we restructured the making of posters for publicization sake. And we made sure that it accommodated everybody. As we have said, Real Talk is a space for everyone, not one tied to particular religious affiliations or just any student that would love to grow. And that is what stood out for me majorly. And I realized a sweet can go a long way.
Yeah, sweet and coffee and a smile. And I remember last semester we did something. We had coffee and a snack, and we had a movie night, and the hall was packed. I mean, guys, do not underestimate. If you're doing chaplaincy in learning institutions, do not underestimate the power of food. There's something about Africans and food. Do not underestimate the power of food. Ronnie, what do you think we did that was different?
Making Real Talk an interactive session. That was a game changer in Real Talk. Because for a very long time, I and Abby, we really worked hard to make people talk, and we're like, now these people, we are not just about to give
It's
up.
like you're forcing them.
Yes, and sometimes I could stand on that pulpit and people are not talking. So you just choose your friends to safeguard your own self-esteem. Because there's no need of you getting bored because people are not talking to you. But when you came, you first made it an interactive session. You trained us how to run an interactive session. And even the Slido software was a revolutionary tool in Slido, because we cannot just underestimate how somebody can just type their issues on that
Mm,
software and it can release a certain button.
right.
And also making it a safe space. Slido has the anonymity feature,
Yeah.
and that also
That was
bigs up
smart.
that
Yeah.
software.
So if you are struggling with your students and they are not able to open up to you as a chaplain, please use these tools. There is Menti, there is Slido. Do that and make your work easier. Now we will cut it here and then we will come back again on part 2 and continue with the conversation. See you in the next episode.